players, let's talk about the old ones as well. Christopher and Heiko, veterans of Overwatch Contenders Season 1, and they're really coming into their own in this new roster where individually, before, they sort of struggled.
And they did. They're both going to roll out the gate. British Hurricane over on the blue, Snakes are over on the red. Very quick, speedy entrance to the point, as in Funny Astro is going to be on the roster for British Hurricane, as with most control maps and maps like Hollywood, which unfortunately aren't in the map pool anymore. Does it like Zapray is actually going to be running that far this time, so he's going to be up in the air, and that will be all up to British Hurricane. Mainly Happy Cool there to take him out.
Asking's opening this one up as well, and Fusion's the shield is gone. British Hurricane right now are sitting ducks under the fire of Snakes.
Yeah, Mikey A is just going to receive a little bit of zap and a little bit of a shock treatment from the Winston as he ends up going down from Heiko's micro missile. Snakes are going to be able to secure the point. Now this 3-3 does struggle here, Legday. It's going to struggle against this Farah. Last time we did see Ellie vote the Diva player that was also synonymous last week around, eating every ult under the sun. It was all up to him to deal with the Farah. We'll see if Happy Cool can do the same.
Hurricane here going to have to be very judicious of their positioning, but already Cave has brought out the Valkyrie, and this is going to increase the pressure on British Hurricane as they make their entrance.
Hurricane are already going to fall to Zapray's Rocket Barrage, who's built up extremely quickly after one fight. One rocket nets him 2 kills, and that Rocket Barrage nets him a 3rd. Snake is going to march their way forward now and actually punish Kiv for being a little bit out of position, not quite finding the speed boost from Funny Astro, who is already going to go down. And now Asking has that Dragon Strike as well. Kodak has a defensive ultimate. British Hurricane, they got a lot to contest with next push.
Yeah, they are going to be clutching at straws, or clutching at support ultimates at least, because Bot does have a Transcendence, and of course Funny Astro has the Sound Barrier as well. They've got a lot to contend with here coming in from Snakes, who only have to spend 2 ultimates to keep the point in control.
Another very, very quick speed boost here from Funny Astro, making sure everybody stays alive and gets onto the point very quickly. That is the Transcendence coming out from Kodak to keep everybody alive, and one from Pocket to actually match. The Doctor is on the field, Asking though, pummeling Happy Cool, and Happy Cool's going to have to back off rather sharp as he did have a Discord Orb on him. That extra damage and the Storm Arrow meeting him. Self-destructs now from both sides, and Cave actually goes down to Happy Cool. Kib still dueling on the point and has a Transcendence, has a Graviton Surge building up also. British Hurricane finally find the cap. However, using that rally was the only thing that really kept them in that fight.
It was an expensive victory here for British Hurricane. They invested 4 ultimates, including 3 of their supports. But over the course of this, they did build up towards that all-important Graviton Surge, and we talk about it every single time it's up. Probably the most powerful ultimate in all of Overwatch that's going to bring everyone in nice and tight, and there it is already.
Well, there's the grab, straight into Fusions. He does Flame Strike Christopher, and Kib will clean up the rest of it, along with Happy Cool taking Heiko's mech. So that's going to be a rather quick reset from the Diva's actually going to chuck herself off the edge. No time wasted for Snakes.
See, I would like to see here British Hurricane taking this in a different order. I would have liked to have seen Fusions bring down the Earth Shatter first, because you can build it back up incredibly quickly by swinging into everyone when they're clumped together in that big meatball that Kid can provide with that with the Graviton Surge. And I think that may well have been an oversight by British Hurricane as they move into this next fight.
Well, they do have Shatter though. Mikey A is going to go fairly low from a rocket from Zapray. Does have another Rocket Barrage available to him, trying to reposition himself there. The Dragons also doesn't quite land it just yet. Happy Cool is going to run for cover, same with Bocket, and in fact almost goes down himself. Cave is there for the heals, however. Fusions gets batted off the map by Christopher, swats him away like a fly, and now he's just Asking, just free to lay down so many arrows in the front line of British Hurricane. Funny Astro is going to bippity-boppity around, but can he actually get anything? Of course he cannot when Asking's on the field. They are going to reclaim the point, 80% now. Cured for Snakes.
Aggressive frogs get put down. Pest control takes no funny business from Funny Astro. But now himself and Bocket once again have built up those dual support ultimates. We'll have to see if British Hurricane can be a little bit more economical in this push. They need to try and take it now, but they need to also hold for 33% after.
Well, they still have that Shatter. Fusions is moving forward. Flame strikes the Winston, or at least tries to. Goes to him a little bit wide. Scorches him only. 1000 HP for that Reinhardt as the Sound Barrier is laid down. Bocket using that Transcendence fairly early too. Mikey A will have that rally up very soon, but they are able to actually capture the point. The whole of Snakes managed to disembark somehow, but the Dragons are going to be there, and Bocket ends up going down just to a mere headshot. The rain from above does come through from Zapray, and a beautiful Matrix there to actually stop him from going down. The hammer does strike the floor, and Christopher's going to lay down with it as well. Mikey still manages to get the kill and unlocks that rally also. Fusion's the only one dead here for British Hurricane, and Kib is working up towards that Graviton Surge as well. Asking is going to fall, which means Kib is pretty much free and open here to actually use that Graviton Graviton Surge. He catches the Mercy, the Baby Diva, ends up finishing him off as well with a right click and a punch, but Zapre and Christopher are still on the point.
The point flipped in the midway through that, an oversight coming from Snakes, but they are going to slowly bring it back. And now British Hurricane need to scramble to move on to the point.
Overtime is halfway there. Funny Astro speeding everybody in, is going to be able to get that touch, but Asking picks him out of the air. Fusion's going extremely low, but is going to receive a lot of healing for that Moira, but not enough to stop those dragons coming in and killing him. And now Zapre, it's a shooting gallery for him up in the sky. Happy Cool switches over to the Doom Fist, but it wasn't quite enough. Even Kib switching over to his also famous Genji. The overtime ticks down, and that will be Gardens taken by Snakes.
Zapre, classically a Tracer specialist, but showing his explosive performances aren't just limited to pulse bombs. For Farah coming out in force as well here. And a lot of micro mistakes that I saw there from British Hurricane, like I pointed out, sadly interrupting you during the cast. But I was talking about Fusions. He used his shield there to save himself, but he shielded Kib when Kib was there using his self barrier to try and gain 40 energy. And then when our observers cut to Kib when he was one of the last surviving members, he had very little energy to play with. If he'd been able to get the full 40 off of that shield, maybe it would have been different. Maybe he could have taken out more players who were caught within that Graviton Surge.
Well, we are going to move over to University. British Hurricane running out the gate with Mikey A actually on this Farah. Double DPS and Funny Astro moving on to that Mercy to keep Mikey A alive. Snakes doing the same thing also, having Zapre once again stick on that Farah.
Mirror compositions here, 2-2-2s all around. British Hurricane versus Snakes, and Fusions is buying as much base as possible. We talk about it before, Jaws. 75% of the map needs to belong to British Hurricane before they feel like they are in control of the map. And now you can see that they have managed to force Zapre back. We do see Mikey A having control of the dome should he wish to move forward with Funny Astro at his back, but Christopher, he's encroaching in, he's booped forward.
Christopher's boot forward and the Discord orb landed on him as well. Heiko's going to step in front of him, just take a lot of that fire, and Happy Cool is just going to burn him up. Vodka actually secured the kill on Christopher because of all the damage from Kib and himself actually pummeling that shield, destroying it in a mere matter of moments. Hurricane are going to be able to secure the point first up. No ultimates really online just yet for them, no combos at least. Funny Astro only with his.
Micro plays there. Christopher knew that he had to move forward and secure some ground on the point so that 6nakes had a leg to stand on. Mikey A looked at it, exploited it, made sure Christopher went further forward than he was bargaining for. Heiko had to move out, give him the shield to try and rescue the situation, but they were both caught out by the DPS and by Bucket when they couldn't range themselves out of those Discord orbs, and that's how British Hurricane, by using patience and guile, won out that fight.
Mikey A going very low. Kodak, you can see how much damage he's been doing. He's already got a Transcendence. Pocket only slightly behind him. Once again, Christopher moving on to the point with Heiko to back him up. Graviton Surge straight with the Transcendence to keep them alive. However, the Dragons are still going to be there and damage boosted. Zapre does find Vengeance, however, as Mikey A is going to take him out, is going to get taken out in midair. However, a res for res as Funny Astro gets up Mikey A and Christopher's going to come up as well. Zapre is going to find that kill on to Mikey A using that Rocket Barrage, and now you can see him just pummeling the front line of tanks. There's no one ready to deal with him if he just stays safe. A Graviton Surge comes out from Snakes and he just gets picked out of the air. Kib in the middle of it all was still managed to land an arrow, but it doesn't really matter, it seems, as Asking still managing to rain hell in the front line.
One after another, but British Hurricane were certainly staying in there longer than they had any right to. Kib being instrumental to that by taking out Zapre. He had his target priority. He knew he could probably land more shots on Christopher with that large hitbox, but he's got to go for percentage play. He's got to try and hit Zapre and save his team from an early demise. That's exactly what he did, hitting those arrows when it counted. But now Zapre's in a defensive position. He's going to be pummeling British Hurricane as they come in. They're going to have to dedicate so much healing to making sure Happy Cool and Fusions are at well-healed percentages before they make their entries.
Asking is going to send the Dragons through the wall, splitting up the rest of British Hurricane. Happy Cool is on the sidelines, and Kib actually finds Asking just snoozing, it seems. Wasn't really watching his back. Rocket Barrage comes from the left-hand side. No one going to go down just yet to it, but it does scatter the rest of Snakes. Asking is going to get resurrected, but with all that healing lost now from Snakes because of Cave using that cooldown, it does mean British Hurricane can make their way onto the point and possibly find a cap.
Asking was rezzed, but he's very aggressive. In doing that, he will gain a kill onto Kib, but still, British Hurricane flip the point over, and Snakes are still in here. They may need to go for a reset here. They're feeding a little bit of energy to Happy Cool as they aggress onto Fusions, and here comes Funny Astro with a Valkyrie, maybe a little bit too much.
No downtime for Snakes, it seemed. They were still happy to kind of duel it out and just make sure they had ults to fight with in the next push. Happy Cool, however, does have the Graviton Surge, and they do have those Dragon Strikes to work with. Also, low. Pocket has the Transcendence, however. Funny Astro making sure he can keep his team alive, use that Valkyrie fairly early, and might just go down to their demise. In fact, Funny Astro going extremely low. There comes the Dragons. No Graviton Surge, just use it with just yet. Or in fact, I take it back because Kodak is going to save the rest of his team. Mikey A does find a boot kill onto Asking, and Christopher actually gets resurrected here.
And now Zapray's looking for a couple of victims here, but everyone's caught within the healing effects of a Transcendence and a Graviton.
He does end up surviving just because there's no damage boost away from Zapray. A Shadow does hit the floor, but Zapray still trying to duel out Mikey A in midair. Mikey A ends up winning the duel, but he's dicing with death right now. Actually gets swung and hit, and Heiko just carves a nice etching of Snake's logo in his armor as he does end up going down. Happy will switch over to the emergency tracer. They're going to flip the point.
You can't recall your way out of a Hanzo or a headshot. You don't have the brains left to do it, I'm afraid, but Hurricane do have a couple of ults to try and make this work. They do have a barrage available. They do have the Shadow as well, and Hafiko, who went over to that emergency tracing, is now forced to swap back over onto the Zaya to make sure Hafiko, or rather to make sure Fusions isn't losing out in his Reinhardt doors where Christopher has a lot more support. But Fusions can be aggressive here. He has a huge advantage in terms of ultimate charge.
Kid goes down to 8 HP, was saved only just by Funny Astro. There comes the Earth Shatter. Christopher trying to be rather sneaky, but Asking's already going to claim it alive. They're going to still poke away at this one, although not anymore as Fusions ends up falling. That big creation of space coming out from the Reinhardt no longer available to them. Hurricane's still on the run, trying not to go down to stagger themselves. It is 90%, however, to 99. Snakes, they win this next fight. They're going to take the map.
Good evasion there from Kip. I'd like to see some lower barrages behind Reinhardt shields because they're always early victims of these Hanzos. And look, Christopher already has control of the point.
Hanzo for Hanzo there. Kib and Asking end up going down. Mikey A now on the point. Rocket Barrage is going to rain through. He gets taken out mid-air though by Mikey A as he gets damage boosted. 2 Transcendences used also, and 2 Graviton Surge as well, laying on top of each other. Fusions is going to march his way forward. Mikey A needs to make something stick here because Zapray is just wiping out his tanks. There's a Discord orb on him, and Mikey A is just desperately trying to find the kill. Ends up going down in the end as well. So another far trade. Snakes though still just vying for time, vying for space here. They're moving forward. This all said and done, British Hurricane couldn't quite grasp the overtime that they needed. Even switching on to Tracer, it wasn't quite enough. They end up securing Oasis.
Not only that, 2-0 in favor of Snakes there on Oasis. And, well, we touched on it on the desk. Sometimes control, it's the great equalizer, as I'd call it. Really does come down to a lot of mechanical skill. And speaking of mechanical skill, someone we rarely highlight, he's a little bit quiet most of the time, but Heiko there really made sure that Christopher was always safe. Great Graviton Surges. And I think Heiko, this is going to be a map that's going on a showreel. This was a real shining from him.
It really was. Christopher was playing so aggressively, and the reason he could do that was Heiko in the back line. We know Fusions is extremely aggressive on this Reinhardt, and Hafiko was there to always back him up. It just, this time around, it was Snake's tank duo that was able to just pip into the post. We are just going to jump to a quick break though, guys. We'll be back with map number 2 very soon. Welcome back, everybody. This is British Hurricane versus Snakes, and we've just seen Snakes take Oasis off the Season 1 champions.
Indeed we have, and not exactly what we were expecting coming in. For chat and two of our analysts, or rather, one of our analysts and Sam thought that we would see a Hurricane victory here, but also the desk said sometimes control can just be you win control and then you get swept for 3 maps by a team that many would consider a favourite.
Seems like a definite trend that's happening right now. We'll have to see if that does continue. We will be going on to Hybrid now. Will be Eichenwald or Kings Row, and that will obviously be the choice of British Hurricane. I wonder if they're going to go to Kings Row just because of the the stature on there. You know, UK map, UK-based organisation too.
Well, nationalism is dead.
They're going to Eichenwald. All right.
And here we can expect to see Nesh, I imagine, to come out on the Widowmaker, which can be incredibly effective on both the first and second points of Eichenwald, where verticality and long sightlines can be the name of the game. But you also see stuff like defensive Pharahs, and Zapri's Pharah right now is looking incredibly impressive.
Yeah, this Pharah defense is extremely hard to take down if you're a Widowmaker. There are very few angles you can actually go for without putting yourself in the line of fire, especially when the Pharah is hiding around that clock tower. We are seeing, obviously, Asking still in, so Nesh is going to have to compete with him for the dominant Widow position in this map. And I've got to say, Asking, last time around, this guy's been so aggressive. 24/7, his grappling hook is on cooldown. He knows every single spot, it seems, he can grapple up to get a cheeky headshot out of spawn.
And once again, I'm going to chalk this up to trust in Heiko. If you trust in your diva that much, then you can be that aggressive. You're like, okay, if this goes wrong, guess who's going to bail me out? I got my French boy Heiko, the Francais, sticking up for each other.
Exactly that. The defense matrix, along with those thrusters, can get you out of any sticky situation, any incoming fire. And we will see Snakes on the offense first, obviously. And we do see British Hurricane on the defense. Mikey A is going to be in here. So we aren't actually going to see Hafikul in the roster. Like you mentioned, it will be Nesh, which means it's going to be a triple DPS comp with only one tank. It's going to be Fusions.
Crusade's in as well. Crusade known to be a very effective shot caller. Although Fusions is mostly the one who calls engagements, I think Crusade's more all about the ult management, the macro plays of the game, and making sure British Hurricane are always well managed. And Fusion's definitely going to have to be well managed here by the 2 healers, because it's going to have very little in the way of peel available, because of course the defense matrix is gone.
A well-placed spray there, if you didn't see it, next to the Venom mine that says sorry.
Sorry for the stink.
A little bit of a psychological warfare there. We've already got Nesh and Kib coming in the front line. There's a defense as well. You've got to keep this in mind. Oh, okay.
Or keep the McCree of Asking in mind, because he certainly has you in mind, Kib. There is the resurrection, but forward, Snakes have gone.
Yeah, with that resurrection, remember, you can push forward rather rapidly because you know that Mercy is going to be left high and dry most of the time. Christopher is going to go down, though. Nesh trying to find a little bit of comeuppance also. Almost finds the headshot on the Zenyatta, but not quite. Holding the low ground this time around. He doesn't want to get killed by Asking and doesn't want to get jumped on by the tanks either. Crusade going extremely low, and Christopher's going to finish that one off. Zaprate just running a riot with Christopher. This tag team duo from Snakes is then is going to secure the point in the end.
That right there, Jaws, that's a crispy dive from Christopher and Zaprate, removing the support line of British Hurricane in but an instant. And Kib, he's had enough of this nonsense. No longer on the Pharah, isn't going to try his luck with Asking over to the Hanzo. And Asking's also done with the McCree shenanigans, no longer wants to be the Sheriff of Eichenwald. Instead, he's going to be the French Terror, moving over onto the Widowmaker to meet Nesh in the field.
Oh, defense matrix narrowly saving Cave's life there, and in fact Nesh takes a body shot as well from Asking. Okay, you've got to be rather careful there, Crusade. Hang on a second, Christopher's going to be up there as well, but 3 members of British Hurricane very rapidly jumping in, but Nesh is still going to go down to Asking's headshot.
Indeed he is. This is a numbers advantage here for Snakes, and you can see Heiko's trying to claim some high ground, but he's just dipping in and out, because at the moment Snakes, they're pretty happy to just keep the payload moving, and goes a pulse on, but Bok, don't sit on those, buddy.
Zapre throws the pulse bomb out. Didn't quite connect, but Bok will end up going down. That resurrection is going to be used on him. Zapre still dancing with death, as he was 9 HP, still 1v1ing Bok. But Asking is going to claim yet another kill. This guy's on fire already, and this is why we're so scared of his Widowmaker. Nesh needs to be able to contest with him.
And you can see that Snakes at the moment, they're not being too aggressive. They know that Nesh has the infra site available. They're happy to just keep the cart rolling on. They don't need to put themselves in too much danger. And Bok and Crusade are going to be trying to keep them safe in the next fight with a double support ultimate once again. But Snakes are going to be ready to answer in kind, and Cave's already brought out that all-important Valkyrie. Not enough for Asking.
Okay, well, Mikey A is going to be the one that has to deal with Asking. That's exactly what's going to happen. Bok's also going to fall to that self-destruct. But look, the point was almost capped. Only 1 meter meter remaining. Nesh finds a headshot on the floating Mercy, but wasn't quite charged up to get the headshot. Cave ducking back in. Nesh on the back lines now. Remember, he can get dealt with rather easily if he isn't careful. Doesn't like Mikey A is going to help Kib just clear out the rest of the point. And mind you, Kib even switching over here actually to the D.Va. We're going to see Fusions claim another couple of kills also off the back of the Primal Rage. So that's something we don't normally see there. Kib switching over from a DPS and going, I'll take the tank role.
Okay, usually we see Nash go over onto a D.Va, but you can see Mikey right now, he's playing point guard. He doesn't want any shenanigans from Zapray to move in soon style and claim that payload. And of course, now it is rolling back. They're having a little bit more margin for error, a little bit more safety on the side of British Hurricanes. We've seen them hold here on Icavod before. They have a stalwart defense, and Kib's going to be making it all the more hardy with a huge health pool that D.Va brings and keeps Fusions in the fight.
Doesn't like Nesh actually saw Asking's a little bit of leg
Christopher's
there.
in the back on Bog.
Bog's in a lot of trouble. Although he is getting pogged, he is going to jump out, self-destruct straight on top of the rest of the team to disengage Snake even more. Mikey A is going to try and punish Heiko, or at least try to, but Fusions is going to go down. Crusade actually forced to use the res to make sure one of his tanks gets back up alive. They're going to go for the quick dive onto the back line. Kodak is going to fall, and a sticky bomb not quite landing on the Mercy, but it might not matter, because Asking is going to be able to clean up Nesh here, and now there is really no one to actually deal with him.
Cave couldn't go anywhere though, no one was going to peek him, but Christopher's still trying to make it work. Little health to work with will mean that this isn't going to work out for the Snakes, despite a valiant effort. And Asking quite out on his own, no grappling hook for him, and just a quick reset. Snakes back to the drawing board here. We'll have to see if they come with any swaps, but of course, Christopher, almost as a Primal Rage, can try and make some space around the cart and allow them to potentially push this in, but British Hurricane, they can answer in kind. Double tank ultimates available.
And it is. Cave, you've got to watch him though. He's got his ult also, and so does Kodak in a couple of percent. Two support ultimates versus a couple of tank ults. Normally, not too much of a contestation. Keeping everybody alive versus batting a few people away, unless it's a big self-destruct, will win out the day more often than not. Asking finds yet another headshot. Isn't quite going to find the kill, however. Using that grappling hook to safety. Mikey A almost in a lot of trouble. You can see how much pressure they're actually putting on Asking. Now she's going to down to Zapray. This is a kind of a symptom of this, trying to actually focus down this Widowmaker. He's going to get killed instantly. Nesh, Asking, they're all just lighting the scoreboard on fire. Even Zapray's trying to get his name on as well. They're going to continue to contest the cart here, but Christopher and Heiko end up finding the last couple of kills, and they're going to be able to deliver the cart to the door.
And this is where Zapray is really proving that he can be an explosive DPS. Well, thus far, I think it's probably been the direction of KDG, but Zapray is more of a facilitator. He shepherds people into the sights of Asking, make sure that they're worried about him and not about the sniper. But now people have gotten on to what's going on. They're like, okay, we need to put so much pressure onto Asking because this guy's mad. He's hitting shots left and right. But you're looking at Asking if there's Zapray.
Oh, self-destruct straight over the top. Doesn't quite find anybody. Asking is going to go down to Kib after he just manages to headshot him with those mini guns. Now the self-destruct does land and actually does get the kill onto Zapray. No dashes were available for it, but a nicely timed Transcendence to keep the D.Va in the fight. Now she's fairly high charge though, and Heiko is going to be the target for the time being. In fact, he's going to get instantly demeched as well. There's way too much damage going his way. Mikey A is just cleaning up the backline too. It doesn't like British Hurricane now going for more of a counter dive or a rather a defensive countermeasure in order to stop Snakes, just getting on their backline time and time again.
Wholesale swaps here, and we can expect Heiko to move back over to the Zarya. Both of the teams have picked up the jump crowd, which are incredibly effective in these small corridors, and you can see Mikey A, right off the back of having swapped from the Tracer, has almost got himself a rip tire already, and this will also mean that both of these Zaryas are going to be not exactly wanting for charge. You can predict that damage incredibly well, so you can build up charge incredibly quickly, and but you can't predict a headshot like that. He's going to require some healing.
Oh, there's the Graviton Surge. Traps 3 members in. Heiko, Christopher, and Cave. They're going to go down. Mikey A turns them to Cinder, and that'll be them going back to the spawn. One big ultimate uses that by British Hurricane, but they still have 4 online, and that will mean Asking's going to have to back off. In fact, claiming Kib's mech, in fact, did have Crusade next to him healing him up, but it was a little bit too much damage coming out from the Storm Arrows.
Yeah, quite aggressive there from British Hurricane, but with 1 minute left on the clock, that fight there was what I'd call a bargain, George. They only had to invest 1 ultimate, and that's for Graviton Surge. And now they can try and make it happen with 1 ultimate again. Mikey A coming through with the Rip Time.
Oh, they're trying to take it out, but Asking gets bubbled at the last crucial second there. More free charge for him, and Asking does manage to stay alive, which means he can build up to that Dragon Strike rather quickly. 60 seconds now remaining, and Cave has popped that Valkyrie to heal everybody up in this tight corridor. Dragon Strike still available. available, and that Graviton Surge not quite being there. So they're going to have to wait a little bit at least, or get a little bit more charge. Zapre cleaning the front, clearing out the front lines. He does unleash the tire. 3 seconds left on it though. Might just get destroyed before it gets there. Kib gets it with the thrusters.
Smart disengagement there from British Hurricane, and now it all comes down to asking him those double dragons. He may decide to let them out soon, but for now he's going to make sure that potentially he can isolate someone, potentially fusions in the ringer with Christopher and allow him to just swing for the fences into a defenseless Reinhardt. But here comes a highly defended back.
Oh, self-destruct lands for 2 kills. Zapre and Christopher end up going down. The Transcendents are on top of the dragons. Might not be enough for them to actually do anything. They're in fact all intact. The damage boost wasn't there, Legday. Asking is going to claim yet another kill on Kodak and doing a lot of damage to the front line, but he hasn't actually got any tanks to leave behind.
He's got another
He
one,
ends up
though.
killing Crusade though, as he was mid-res. Asking is still on the point. They still might be able to do this. Kib is ejected from the mech. Asking, this one-man machine is going to push this cart to the victory. However, overtime still going down, and Mikey A launching that Riptire. This might just be their time. Christopher manages to get Riptire in the spawn as he launches it out to the right-hand side. The Dragons split everybody apart, and Nesh is going to get taken out with a headshot from Asking. If he can keep this up, they might just be able to do it. Finally, Fusions lays him out on the floor, and Heiko switches to the emergency Doomfist to get back to the point rather instantly. Asking ends up going down, but he is going to get resurrected. Heiko's still going to kill Fusions off, and Asking is still going. This madman can't miss, it seems. He's going to try and take out Nesh. Crusade's on the point, but he gets battered up into the air and turned into mincemeat. Mikey A is going to fall also. How did Snakes do it on what seemed to be a lost fight? Asking comes up clutch.
The lone French warrior reinventing the guillotine, because that man just executed British Hurricane. I don't know what just hit them, but, well, let's just say it was a victory in the World Cup, and it's a victory in Contenders for the big French boy himself. Asking, showing exactly why he is here in Overwatch Contenders Europe Season 2, and he is here to stay with performances like that. Or move up to Overwatch League. Couldn't stay, maybe. I don't know.
Or just gets picked up.
Is he old enough? I think he's 16. But actually, I'm not going to say, because you never know. He could be of age.
Well, Hurricane and Snakes right now proven they have the Widowmakers. They've proven they have the Hanzos. It's now time for Snakes to jump onto the defense. Asking, popping over to that McCree again. I want to see if he does run out the gate with it. McCree, highly effective on the offense there, seemingly to predict British Hurricane's triple DPS last time around.
And Asking was very good at controlling Kib. It was a quick headshot and a body shot, 210 damage onto the unsuspecting Farron. That was the first pick there. And how they followed that up on their first point attack was that they made sure that Crusade started the resurrection onto Kib. And when he did that, they were like, okay, you can have that resurrection. We're just going to go and kill Fusions so that you can't resurrect that main tank. And you've only got squishy players around the point. You've got 1,000 HP maximum potentially. And then Fusions has to bunny hop his way back on the Winston. And while there's no tank there, Snakes feasted.
In 30 seconds.
Feasted on scrap metal of the plane. Not sure how that works. Don't ask me. Not a biologist.
Snakes on a plane.
That's
what this game will be known as.
Snakes on a plane.
Yeah.
Well, if they do end up winning, I guess so. I'm not sure the plane can really fight back in that instance.
I don't know what happens in that movie. Does the plane win?
Does the plane win?
Yeah.
Well, the aircon finally kills off the snakes through...
well, I assume the passengers of a plane did something, Jaws.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't really think of that. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway.
But the plane itself won.
The plane itself managed to crash itself. I don't know. Hurricane still soaring above the clouds, however. They are 4 minutes in the time bank to start us off with. Of course, they are running that triple DPS with Nesh on the winner. Mikey 8 is going to jump over that Tracer, and obviously we have Kib on the far.
And even Box looking for an early pick here, throws in the volley of orbs, but for now he's just going to be covering Mikey A's approach as they try and figure out where Snakes are setting up. He's going to be the double tank from Snakes. They are going to be covering each other's backs, Christopher and Heiko on those dives.
Well, asking, like we said, is he going to stick on the McCree? Yes, he is. Does look like a quick swap up here from Kib. Is rather scared of asking on the McCree. As soon as he saw him, nope, going to Genji.
That's a hard pass from me, says Kib, and now British Hurricane are moving over to a more wholesale dive, sort of like an Overwatch League Stage 2 sort of vibe. And of course, asking is going to be ready to answer that with a flashbang as they come in, but he's only got one on a pretty long cooldown, so he's going to be very judicious as to where he uses it.
McCree rather weak to dives, but good at taking out tracers and very squishy targets like the Genji as well, who are very weak to their stuns. Mikey A moving around the side. He has to make sure he spots out Asking. They spot out him, they know exactly when and where to dive.
And Asking is playing most of their payload here, so he can continue to rotate around that for some long-range cover should he come under fire from the Zenyatta, because he can, if he can move around there, he can try and bait in some of these flankers. And Christopher's dead, but is brought back, and it looks like British Hurricane are already on the run. Crusade, that's a little bit of a late Valkyrie, my friends. You've already lost 2 people.
He's lost 2 people and he loses another one as well. Mikey A is going to go down to a headshot. Did try and get the flank, but you can't fool the Sheriff. As Asking quickly turns around, flashbang, and a quick headshot to seal the deal.
Yeah, you're in Asking country now. And Asking doesn't take no troublemakers, especially if they happen to be from an academy team. And look at Snakes. They have built up quite the arsenal for their police department. They have 5 ultimates ready to go as soon as Christopher racks some nerves with a Tesla course for about 1 second longer. Meanwhile, on the side of British Hurricanes, looking pretty bare. They've almost got the Dragon Blade, but for now, the only thing that is at their beck and call is the Pulse Bomb provided by Mikey A.
Oh, there you go. There's the 6
Asking,
ticks.
what a madman.
Asking does peek Kib, and actually it's going to force Crusade to use that res fairly early on. So they haven't got that for the next 30 seconds. Flashbang onto the Tracer, or at least he tried to. Kib's going to dive him as well. Mikey A and Kib just running the Sheriff out of town. There's going to be a resurrection, however, so Asking is going to come back from the dead. Cave has popped that Valkyrie also, and that Transcendence is going to be unleashed from British Hurricane. High Noon is going to be there. Can he find anything, though? In fact, British Hurricane are just going to run for the rafters. They do manage to avoid it for the time being. Primal Rage not Asking back. Blade's going to go straight into a Transcendence, but Kib is still going to manage to find 2 kills. Zapare and Cave end up going down.
Great use of the damage boost there to make sure that he could cut his way through the Transcendence, and now the Dregs are just being cleaned up by British Hurricane. Kodak managed to get one back on his counterpart in Bok. It does look like this is all over here for Snakes on the first point defense.
Does look like that indeed. Nice time bank to do with as well. 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Kodak killed both the supports there.
Kodak, yeah, he did a good job. It was
you
all
did
avail,
good,
though.
kid.
Oh man, that's like I killed both supports, guys. Can we oh, capped.
Guys, I killed 2 people.
What's going on? I'm a support, by the way.
Team?
Asking now, trying to set up on the McCree, make sure there's no hidden flanks from Mikey A or Kib. Mikey A has got that pulse bomb though. Very good job of racking it up very quickly. One of the faster building ults in the game.
And he's already thrown it out. No one's going to be sitting on that, however, and Zapre's keeping the cart in contestation here. He's got his eyes on Bok, but of course Crusade is there with the all-important pocket.
Asking is going to take out Kib with the help of the Discord Orb, and is actually going to look at his watch for a little bit there as Fusions ends up going down with that High Noon. Now Snakes pushing forward, holding extremely aggressively. We know Asking is a very aggressive Widow player, apparently McCree as well.
Yeah, hitting headshot after headshot. The man's aim cannot be faulted, but Bocket's going to try and do something about it with a Transcendence in the coming fights. Of course, Heiko can make his way through that huge amount of healing with burst damage should he wish to lay down the self-destruct if that's available, and Bok's already under huge pressure, and he's gone down already. He's going to have to be resurrected if he wants to bring out that Transcendence.
And you now see Snakes just trying to push forward, make sure that resurrection cannot come through. Kib does end up ending the life of Zapre, but Crusade's going to fall here. So Hurricane haven't really got that much healing now as Bok has only just come back from spawn, and Christopher is making them pay as he does take out Nesh, and Fusions is soon to follow.
Snakes revitalized roster here. Who could have thought the roster that went 0-5 in Contenders Season 1 is currently up against the previous champions and holding them fast on Eichenwald's second. They managed to get the full completion, but of course British Hurricane, with 2 minutes in their time bank and all of these ults coming up ready to use, can still fight this back. But Snakes, we talk about this all the time. They're very economical with their ultimates. There are always ultimates available for Snakes. Currently, they've got 5 ready to go.
Look how quickly Heiko is as well to the defense with Christopher. Christopher is going to activate that Primal Rage to make sure he doesn't die to that Pulse Bomb. However, going extremely low as he is Discord orbed. Kib is going to almost take him out as well. So Christopher making sure he gets out. Oh, that was... My heart skipped a beat there, and so will everybody else. In fact, Mikey A is going to skip a little bit more than that as he ends up going down to that High Noon. A nice flashbang onto the Winston and a couple of headshots. Make sure he's sent packing also. Mikey A does get the resurrection, so nice use of the Primal Rage, in fact, by Fusions to make sure they guaranteed it.
And now Asking can play around the low ground. He's going to be under pressure from the tanks, but Kib has forced out the Transcendence. Now is the time to draw out the blade. The silverware is going to be on the menu.
He's got to do it. Is extremely low, though, and he is Discord Orb, so he ends up backing away. Very, very good at patiently waiting for this. However, 60 seconds remaining. He can't be too patient all for long. Bocket is going to take out Kodak. However, he is in the back line. He did take out a support, yes, but it's going to be instantly rezzed by Cave.
Vengeance for Kodak's support double kill on the claiming of the first point there from Snakes. And of course, Asking, once again, has the Dead Eye ready to go, and it means British Hurricane have to be very careful about their positioning. He could use it the second, but Kib draws out this blade to make sure that he's in hiding for majority. And Bocket, he's already down. That's going to force out a resurrection. No second chances for the next fight. It won't be up until the match is over. There's 26 seconds remaining.
2 DPS ults, Pulse Bomb, and that Dragon Blade. Kib needs to make sure he kills off Asking or Kodak to completely destroy this fight. There's the Blade. The Pulse Bomb did get eaten. In fact, he does end up killing Kodak. He's going to go for the Winston next. Can't quite get through that tough outer shell, and he ends up going down to that Primal Rage. Asking using that Deadeye to zone everybody away for now. Mikey A going extremely low. Flashbang going a little bit wide as well, as Mikey A did go on the recall, but it doesn't matter. Asking receives the damage boost and ends up taking him out regardless. He's going to move forward as Nesh gets instantly demed by that self-destruct. He lays his one out as well to make sure everybody is just off the cart. He can get their mech back instantly. But Crusade ends up going into Valkyrie form and gets taken down where he stands. Asking manages to get the kill, and this man's on fire already. 2 kills for him, and it's only a Prime and Rage and Winston to actually deal with now. Another Deadeye is ready. He ends up laying it out. Mikey A is going to be another death, another Deadeye kill, and another map win for Snakes. 2-0 and match point against Hurricane.
McCree is a pretty strong hero, I hear you asking. And people who don't think he's in meta, they evidently just can't aim as well as he can, because he was popping heads left and right. You can pop Valkyrie, won't matter. I'll just get you out of the air. I can miss the flashbang. I'll just get Mikey A with a damage boost. He doesn't care.
Not only is he extremely aggressive on the Widowmaker, he will sit in your front line with his gun not drawn, just ever so patiently waiting for the Tracer to come out of Blink. Bam, headshot, easy. Mikey A was no match for him. Apparently, the supports were no match for him either. What an incredible game from Asking already. 2-0 as well. Snakes, this is a revitalized roster ready to rock and roll. We're going to jump over to the desk. They're going to break down those 2 games even more.